What's up, everybody? And welcome once again to the UnLearnT podcast. I am your host, Ruth Abigail, aka RA.
What's up, friends? It's your girl, Jaquita.
And this is the podcast that is helping you gain the courage to change your mind so that you can experience more freedom.
Freedom. Yeah. Listen, Ruth Abigail, how's it going out there in those Memphis streets?
Memphis is great. Memphis is good. Memphis is great. You know what I'm saying? What we do is what we do out here. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all do a lot.
I know.
Y'all do a lot.
I know.
But you know, I just recently talked to a friend who is, I think, moving to Memphis.
Really?
Actually. And Memphis is the city that I think I brag on the most. And Chicago. I love Chicago. But whenever somebody's like, yeah, I think I'm going to visit Memphis, I'm like, you're going to have a great time. And you're going to eat so well.
Very good.
But stay safe.
Yeah,
don't be in them streets.
Don't do that. Don't do that. See, don't do that. Hey, so don't do that because there ain't no need to add that last part. Okay. It's fine. You be all right. You just as safe in other places as you is here. Okay. Just be smart. That's what you need to tell people. Be smart.
You know
don't
what?
do stupid things.
You know what we don't tell people to do when they come to South Carolina? Like, hey, all right, you need to be wise in the streets.
You do though.
All right, you need to make smart. You need to make smart decisions.
You should tell people that.
Nobody gives that disclaimer. No.
You should. You got crazy people everywhere.
You should.
You got crazy people everywhere. You tripping. No.
Nevertheless. You know, I think it's funny before we press play on the podcast today, we were talking about how these middle adult bodies don't do what they used to do.
They don't.
But, you know, one thing I am grateful, the body does not do what it used to do, but I do feel like the mind and the heart are getting sharper.
Absolutely.
You know,
Amen.
And I think that it's a great segue in thinking about how we kind of age through, like, how our body works and what works for us. Even in our leadership style, I think this leadership style today, I'm good at what I do, baby. I'm good at what I'm doing. Okay. But I think that this leadership style is definitely one that comes with that level of maturity and that level of understanding. So as you guys know, we've been talking about all of the different leadership styles. We are actually on the last one today.
Last one, guys. Last one.
And it's one that I think, you know, I'm glad we saved it for last because it's the one that can kind of pick and choose from all of them and kind of make informed decisions in the moment. But we're going to talk about some of the strengths and weaknesses of that. Today, guys, we're talking about situational leadership.
Situational leadership. A leadership a leader for every situation.
You don't even know the song, do you?
I do not. I wasn't paying attention.
Never mind. Anyways, we're talking about situational leadership.
Yeah. We're talking about situational leadership. And so to get us started, this is the definition for those of you. It's pretty like self-explanatory. But it's good to kind of just read it, get a baseline of really what it is. So it's a leadership style where the leader adapts their approach based on the current work environment and needs of their team. All right. It's characterized by flexibility and the ability to be directive and supportive depending on the followers' individual needs and developmental levels. All right. So it's a situational leader is very aware of their team. They're very keen to who they are and what they need, and to whatever situations at hand. You have to be a pretty observant person. You have to be a discerning person to do this well, and you have to be, like it said, flexible to do this well. And so that is what situational leadership is. Is this a style that you have experienced either as a leader or on the other side of it? Having a leader who did this?
I definitely think, and this is why I was talking about, like, it's something that I feel like most people grow into, because you will get to a point in your leadership where you think you're killing it, and then that one person that you're leading is like, this doesn't work.
Yeah.
And you're like, what you mean?
Yeah, that's real.
Okay.
Yep.
I have been working on being this type of leader. You know, and then you get to a point where it's okay, you have to expand
Mm.
how you're offering leadership to the people that you lead. And so I definitely think that that has happened to me, where I realized that I needed to adapt my leadership style. Not just for the situations that were coming up, because I do think that, like, in the work that I used to do, especially in the involvement world, stuff is always coming up.
Mm.
And I work at a pretty high profile school, and I was like, Lord, if something happens, we might end up in the news or something.
Yeah.
When I worked at, technical colleges and stuff, I never worried that somebody was gonna come with a news camera.
That's a fair point.
I was never concerned about that. But I had to be on my toes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to be ready to respond for any different type of situation that came up. And I think that situational leadership, much like what was the one that we said was good with authoritative?
Okay.
Like, I think that these can be really good at helping people to navigate difficult times,
Yeah.
because you're able to kind of tailor make, not emergent times though.
Yeah. No, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
emergency, you need
Yeah.
that authoritarian person who's going to be like, hey, everybody hush,
Yeah.
listen to my voice. I'm going to get us where we need to go.
Yeah.
Right. But I think situational leadership can lead you through a season,
Yeah.
and lead an organization through a tough time where we have to pivot and make changes, or where somebody on the team needs something that's different from everyone else. Like, I think situational leadership was built for those times. And so, yes, I have both employed and experienced it.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, I have in my tenure where I am now, I've had 2 in the last 5 or 6
Come on,
years.
tenure.
Gosh, is that 6 years? Almost 6 years. Um, I've had 2 very, very different types of teams. And so that has required some pretty intense situational leadership, and that the pivot of leading one way based on this team, and then pretty, in some ways fairly abruptly shifting, right, and having to really lead a very different way because I have a very different team. And I think that as a leader, to be honest with you, there's a part of me, and I'm just now kind of coming to this, like in this moment, there's a part of me that feels like I'm still learning who I am as a leader because of that.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
No, I get that. I
Yeah.
definitely get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think here's the challenge for everyone. And we're going to have a special segment soon where I think we'll be able to dig a little bit deeper into this, is that the leadership style is the beginning. It is the beginning of understanding who you are as a leader.
For sure.
Like knowing where you primarily sit, and knowing your approach to things, I think, is the beginning of understanding who you are. But you have to link style to purpose, right? And purpose is not I have a purpose in a thing, right? Purpose is something that I carry with me everywhere that I go.
That's right.
And so you have to be able to link style with purpose, with values. Like, there's more to discover.
Yeah, there's
And it all works together.
Yeah, it does. And I think to that point, I'm glad you said that, because especially like, with this particular leadership style, if you're not careful, and this is one of the downfalls to it, it can, as confusing as it might be to you, it can also be confusing to your team. And so, because if you're always only responsive, which is what this style really is, you're responding to what you see and what you need to do a lot of times, right? But if that's kind of your if that's your MO, I'm gonna respond to what I see, and that's what I'm gonna how I'm gonna operate, then it's going to be really hard to do 2 things. It's going to be hard to establish trust, and it's going to be hard to establish culture. Okay.
Yes.
And
I'd
so,
also like to say it may be difficult to establish long-term vision.
For sure.
because
Yeah.
you're always in the moment.
Because you're always in the moment. And
Yeah.
so I think that, so it's going to be hard to establish trust, culture, and long-term vision. And if you stay in this style, one thing is, I will say, having lived in this style for a while, it becomes, it can become comfortable, because it really it doesn't require as much preparation, right? It doesn't it
Yes.
doesn't require as much
You can improv.
yeah, I mean, you kind of just, you
Yeah.
just, okay, what's going on? Okay, you're just responding. You're putting out
Yeah.
fires, or you are, you're living for the next thing. You're living for the next moment. And I
Yes.
also think it becomes performative. And so you also, for me, now I'm a in the Enneagram, I'm a 3. So that is I'm a performer. I'm a worker, I'm a performer. That's what I do. So I'll be honest, this style can also kind of, if I'm not careful, can I can easily become the star of the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as a leader, if you're a healthy leader, you don't need to be the star of the show. You aren't the
Yeah.
star. You have a team, and you all work together. Like we said, leadership is not a ladder;
Mm-hmm.
it's a circle. So everybody's got their turn. And
Yeah.
if you're not careful about being a situation, if you're not careful about being discerning as to when to use this particular style, then
Mm-hmm.
you can kind of be the one to save the day, or you could be the
Yeah.
one that is like, oh, he or she really knows me, she gets me. You become the star, you become the leader that every
Yes.
individual really appreciates, but
This is so good.
you don't necessarily bring
Yeah.
together and you're not building something that's cohesive.
And you don't, okay, a couple of things, because I think that this leadership style has kind of like a superhero kind of cast on it, like Superman, it's like Spider-Man chilling in his house and he's like, oh Lord, something happening.
Right.
Let me get the suit, let
Right.
me come out, let me do the things, so I can save the day again, and I think that we have to make sure our job as leaders, well, it can vary, but I'm going to say from my perspective,
Mm-hmm.
your job as a leader is to build the next set of leaders.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you are, and sometimes, a lot of times, that means not saving the day, but allowing
Come
your
on.
team
Come on.
to develop
That's it.
into the people that
Yep.
can do the things,
Which
and not
sometimes
just you. You know what I'm saying?
you're gonna
And
have to let
so
stuff fall.
you're gonna have, boy, and that situational leadership style, I think is probably hardest for them to do that.
For sure. Yeah.
I think because they are, you make it seem like you have delegated authority,
Yeah.
but you're watching it so closely that you're always on top of, you're hyper aware
Mm-hmm.
of what people are doing, if they're doing it well, if your team is performing, if you're meeting metrics and goals, if you're following the rules,
Mm-hmm.
that you're so on top of it that nobody can get from up under you.
Yeah.
Mm,
That's good.
child. I'm sorry, because I've been there.
Yeah.
Right. And,
Yeah.
and you think
Yeah. Yeah.
because the team has met a goal, or that we avoided catastrophe, or that something went really well, or that something didn't go really wrong,
Mm.
that you have done a great job as a
Yeah.
leader.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And you get to make a report that says, hey, my team has done well. We had a situation, but it got handled.
Mm.
But people under you are not developed.
Yes.
They leave with no knowledge, no experience, no they've built no muscle, because every time there was a weight in their hand,
Yep.
you either walk them through it, right? It says you can be directive or supportive. You
Mm-hmm.
either directed them through it and didn't let them figure it out themselves, or you over supported to the point where you were doing the work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Sorry. Because I think that the other thing that happens is that you're so busy running to all of the fires and now you're burnt out.
Man, come on. That's real.
But you
That's
burnt
good.
out because you took the responsibility. You became a firefighter.
That's right.
And that wasn't your job.
That's right. That's right.
There is order and protocol for a reason. And I'm sorry. It's all coming to me right now. One, let me stay on the burnout part. You running the fires that aren't yours to fix. Everything that you see is not your thing to fix.
Yeah.
It's not your fire to put out. And every fire that you see is not going to burn down the whole building. You take a situation and now it's blown up because you are very situation focused.
That's right.
And you think because you can see the situation so clearly, you think you see the whole picture. But you're looking at the situation and you're not looking at the people. You have firefighters on your team, but you keep taking the hose out of their hands.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
You have people who can do it honestly better than you.
Mm-hmm.
Who can, and I'm not talking about doing the work, right? Because let's just be honest. Anybody can do the work.
Yeah.
Usually when it comes to, they may not be able to do it as well as some other people.
Yeah.
But you could put somebody there and say, hey, do A, B, and C, right? And they can get it done. But the reason why we have specific jobs for specific people is because people are anointed and gifted to do certain things.
Yeah.
And they can take something to the next level that you can't.
That's right.
But every time you step in and you say, okay, I know what we need to do. Everybody follow, here's the solution. You're always giving solutions. You're always giving answers, but you're not empowering and strengthening your people to grow.
One of my team members challenges me on that. And I appreciate that because I definitely lean in that direction. Like I lean in that direction. Partly because you just want it to be, you want whatever it is you're doing to be right. Sometimes, and this is a tough tension I deal with. Sometimes there is a lack of trust because there are moments.
Ruth's like, actually, I don't trust you.
I mean, sometimes I don't, if I'm just being honest. Like sometimes, it's not, sometimes it's just a matter of like believing that the growth is real and that what they did before they won't do again. Now you have to believe that, right? Because I've been in situations where, you have team members who drop the ball, right? And it comes back around. And the question is, are you going to take the risk of them dropping the ball again? Or are you going to trust that they are going to handle it? And sometimes they've handled it and sometimes they haven't, right? And so, but as a situational leader, as somebody who is bit towards that or has felt like they have to be in that space, it's hard to do that. I'm just gonna have a transparent moment. Real talk. I have had to manage a lot of transition. I've said this before a lot of times on the show. I've managed a ton of transition in this current role I'm in, as an organizational leader. And I don't know that I have, there's maybe two people, if I'm just being totally honest, that I have worked with long enough to fully trust, to know that even if they drop it, it's okay. They're not gonna drop it again. And sometimes it takes time. And I've been so wired I've been so wired to like in the situational leadership role, because to respond because of either just people that are new, and sometimes it actually is a great leadership style for a novice team, because they just need time. They gotta learn, right? And so you have to kind of be responsive. They need the direction, right? And support, yeah. And so I feel like I've been in that space for a while. And when you get to the edge of people, when it's ready to kind of turn it over, then there's a transition. And so you got to do it again. So you get used to that cycle and you get used to that response time. And so for those of you like me who have been in the midst of a lot of transition over the last few years, this can be, you might want to look at this, and if this is sounding familiar, then what I would encourage you to do is to take a step back and take a step back and just take a step back,
Oh Lord, I
because
pray that the people are listening.
you don't realize that you are stunting the development, and I've been guilty of that. And so even if it's okay, it's necessary that the ball drops. And I've done that plenty of times. Gotta let the ball drop. And let them pick it up, right? I think
Yeah.
this is also a reason, and I've seen this too, that people actually want to develop. And I think sometimes leaders don't take that into consideration. I think we don't always think the best in people sometimes. And it's like,
Okay.
people want to develop. I know.
I
Hold on,
no,
hold on.
finish. I'm
People
here. I'm
people
here.
want to develop. And
Mm-hmm.
so you got to let them, and if you let them, they'll probably stay longer.
Come on here.
Their length of time. So then when you lengthen the time, you build up the trust, you build up the culture, and you're not as required to be as responsive. And you can start to delve into other leadership styles other than this situation.
Hey, excellent points, Ruth Abigail. I think something that is going to be critical for a situational leader to realize is that one, everyone is not you. And I think a lot of times what happens is that we get stuck in believing that we know and understand how people will respond and how they will navigate different situations and circumstances. And you come up with cookie cutter solutions that came out of your brain. And then you impose those solutions onto people who don't think or process or understand things in the way that you do, not because they're less mature, but because they're wired differently.
Yeah.
And so you keep forcing yourself as the solution. You keep saying,
Yeah.
the way I think, the way I understand, the way I perceive things is the answer. And that person begins an internal battle of feeling unheard, misunderstood, constantly feeling like they have to prove themselves because they're like, okay, I got to live up to whatever way it is that my leader thinks
Yeah.
or acts or I got to do things the way that they do it, instead of you allowing them an opportunity to explore, okay, wait. My brain and my experiences and my skill sets are going to lead me to do something different in the situation that may produce a different result that's actually better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because again,
Yeah.
you have to know when we look at who is hired for the job, I like to think that hopefully the people who have been put in positions, whether they are the positions at the bottom of the organization or the positions at the top, is someone that is anointed and gifted and has what's in them. They have what's necessary to fulfill the position in a way that's going to launch us forward.
Yeah.
Right? You have
Yep.
to believe that. But sometimes in the ways that we lead people, we say, I got to show them how to do this. They don't know what they're doing. I don't know why they are if they don't move at the pace that you
Yep.
move at, or they don't
Yep.
move in the way that you
Yep.
move, or they
Yep.
don't think about things the way that you think about. Your mind is always, I got to train them. I got to mold them. I got to get them. I want things done the way. There is a right way to do things. And you get stuck. Pre recording today, we were talking about just ways that we're motivated.
Yeah.
Um, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I was telling them, Ruth and Joy are both like, prove them people. Like, hey, you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm
Absolutely.
about to expend every bit of my energy, my time, and my effort, and I'm not going to try. I'm going to achieve. Right?
100%.
I'm going to make sure that I do
Yeah.
it.
It's going
Your
to happen.
friend Jaquita is not that way. Right? I've tried being that way. It does not
Yeah.
work for me.
It's not who
When
you are.
people come at me with the, you know what? You probably, you really can't do that. You're not good at that thing. I'm like, a part of me is like, you know what? You might be right. And I'm not finna sit here and allow myself to be made a mockery of.
There you
I'm
go.
walking away. Okay? I'm out of here. Right? When you tell me I'm not something, and if I really don't believe I am, now if I deep down in my heart, like if somebody were to tell me I'm not funny, okay, I'd be like, all right, no, I
Yeah.
know I'm funny. So if I know I already can prove it, I'm in the ring. If
Okay.
I'm like, I'm not sure. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if I am or if I'm not. And I'm not about to get out here and try publicly. And one thing that I realized about myself was that I'm not achievement motivated. And I say that because I want to free some other people who are also not achievement motivated, because the world makes you feel like you should be. The world makes you feel like you are supposed to, when you get the product, the thing, the achievement in your hand, you are supposed to be, full of glee about it. And that's supposed to motivate you to keep achieving.
Yeah.
I'm not achievement motivated. I am very
Yeah.
much mission motivated. If
Yeah.
you sit me down and you say, hey, Jaquita, listen, I know this is not your natural gift set, but this is the purpose. This is what God has ordained, and this is why we need you to do this. You got me. I'm be like, listen, I'm here for the team. All right, and
You got it. Yeah.
I'm gonna change. We're gonna go change lives. Come on, let's go. But
Yeah.
if you like, hey, you can't do this, and I don't want to.
And this is very important. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, you're
Did I
fine.
cut you off? I did.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
Go ahead.
This is exactly like why I think this leadership style has one of the strengths that it has is that it often does pay attention to the individual. And I think it's a great way to scratch your itch, scratch the hero itch. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me be more specific.
Thank you. I was very grateful
not just
that
any
you
itch.
clarified.
I don't know where you're itching.
We're not talking about the other itches.
No, just this one.
Mhm.
So it can scratch your hero itch. You know what I mean? So like, if you want to be a hero, be a hero. Okay, I'm sorry. Do you lost it? Have you lost it? Bring it back. I'm really not sure.
I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good.
not really sure what they're okay.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
We're good. We're good. We're good. So like, if you want to, if you're like, you respond to the individual. Like, if you just need a place to respond to the person, not the situation. Respond to who they are. And so, because I understand this need to, like, if this is just kind of where you naturally sit. And it's funny, as we are talking about this, I really feel like this is more I think that I have more of this in me than I thought.
All right. If you have been keeping tally, okay, literally every single leadership style, Ruth Abigail's like, wow, this is me.
No,
this is
I'm
so
not.
me.
Okay, hold on.
This is now that I think about it.
No.
I sit
because
in this.
you have to be a little. You have to at some point hit all of this, right?
Yeah, they've heard this speech before, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna continue to say it because it's true. You have to be comfortable doing all, because it's gonna happen. You're gonna have seasons where you got to be all of this stuff. Yeah. But there's something about this that's resonating with me a little bit deeper than the others. Whatever. I have not said that before, and if I have, whatever. So I just, but
this is the one.
Whatever. It's terrible. I'm way too vulnerable on this show. But I really, I think that if you if the response factor is important to you, and it can be, and that's not a bad thing. Like Quita was saying, respond to the individual, learn who they are, right? As opposed to, and that'll help you to understand um how to support them specifically in the midst of different situations, because a person like Quita doesn't need to be pushed. That's not her. You're not going to get anywhere with her there, right?
You're really
Versus
not.
producer Joy, she likes a challenge, and if you take
She
the
does.
challenge away, she's going to be deflated. Like, don't do that, right?
Wow.
And so I think, like, the understanding that about people that you are working with, it can really kind of enhance this leadership style for you, and they will be
Yeah.
appreciated. And so I would encourage you, like, if you find yourself leaning towards this, or in a situation where you are kind of having to do that all the time because things are constantly changing and you're in transition mode, or you have a really young team, right?
Yeah.
Instead of responding to the thing, respond to the person.
Yeah.
And that will help them to develop, which is
Yeah.
what you need in order to then get out of this particular style
Yeah.
and move on to others, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel the need to stick up for my non-achievement motivated friends, to the fellow, because I feel I spent so much of my 20s
Mm,
feeling misunderstood and feeling like it was impossible to be myself,
mm,
because I felt like I was constantly being told who you are is going to lead you nowhere. Right.
mm,
Who you are is gonna land you in a sea of regrets. And
mm,
so I spent a lot of my 20s trying to put on other people's armor. Put on other people's, like, oh, well, their gifting looks good, and their personality looks great, and who they are. And I spent a good bit of my 20s feeling honestly miserable. And it took me, but I will say, growing out of feeling like I had to be someone, look like someone different, the process of growing out of that is what gave me the material to be able to talk to young leaders now, and to
mm-hmm.
see where people really are, and to give language to who they are, because there's a lot of people who don't yet understand exactly why they work the way that they work, because they feel like they don't work like everyone else,
That's
or
real.
that they don't sit within the majority of people,
That's real.
and they don't know how to activate potential, because everyone around them is telling you got to do it this way, and they're
Mm,
like, I'm not that person.
yeah.
And I think that if you are a leader that is working with someone that you just can't seem to motivate,
Mm,
I think, one, you are going to have to learn how to ask different questions.
absolutely.
I think that because the questions that I tended to get asked were, why can't you just get it? Why don't you understand this? What is it that you don't, what is it that you're supposed to learn by, oh, this was my favorite. You're supposed to learn by observing me.
Mm,
And when you observe me, then you will pick up everything you need. And I remember
right.
just watching, like, I think you want me to see there is something that you are intending to portray that you think that I should see, and then I repeat.
Right.
But
Right.
my mind is always thinking of, how can I do something different? How can
Mm-hmm.
I improve something? My mind is always in a moment that's beyond the moment that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so instead of you taking a step back and saying, okay, who is this person? And how can I help them be a better them? And
Yeah.
not, how can I help them become me?
That's
And I
good.
think a lot of times in
That's
leadership,
really good.
we lose people because they realize, when they get to the point where they realize that your leadership can only extend to help replicate yourself. And when a person realizes, I don't want to be
Oh
you,
man, that's real.
they gone.
That's it. Yep.
They're gone. They don't trust you anymore. They don't receive from you anymore. They've moved on.
Yep.
And you have got to get to a point, and this is regardless of what your leadership style is. We all have got to get to a point where we are really interested in getting to know and wanting to develop who people are. The Lord already did the creating. He already did this person's gonna have this temperament, this personality style, this gift set, this and that. The Lord already did that. You don't get to go back in and then say, you know what, you just, something's missing and I think it's me. Oh,
that's real.
No, that's not going to be the right response, because ultimately what people really want to feel is that they are able to thrive under your leadership, regardless of what your leadership style is. And I do think situational can work for that in some respects. I think that that's actually a strength of theirs, because they're looking person to person and saying, okay, this is what they need, and this is what they need, and this is who I'm going to be to them, and this is who I'm going to be to them, you know. But I think that there's also a potential, if you misread the person, you're going to misdiagnose them, and you're going to take them through a rigmarole that they didn't necessarily need. And as a person that has been made to go through many a rigmarole, okay, and still left feeling like, because I left feeling like, okay, once again, I got to prove myself. I got to try to help people understand who I am. And you know, at some point, I'm going to stop doing that.
Yeah. And you should. I mean, I think you said something that is very key that I have found is not the strength of many leaders, including myself, until I learned how to do it and I put effort into it. And that's asking questions. I think that we don't know how to do that well. You know, and the art of asking questions probably started leaning into learning about that maybe about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. And it is the best, it was the best thing that I could have done as a leader, is to learn how to ask questions, good questions, not just not simple questions, but questions that are going to get to the heart of the matter. And quickly. You don't need a long time to get there, right? But part of doing that is listening. People just don't listen. And I think that if you listen and you observe, you'll know what questions to ask and when to ask them, right? I'm not saying you're gonna be perfect all the time, but it's worth trying. I'll give a little tip that I learned, that I've told people, help to coach people on how to ask questions. And I don't know, I think I'm gonna do something on this eventually, just because it's something that's really helped me as a leader, and I've had a lot of people who have responded to this well. But most of us ask questions that are close-ended. We don't even realize we're doing it, right? And so those questions, this is a simple trick. If you are a leader and you're asking questions that begin with do or have, you're asking a close-ended question every time.
Wow.
Do you know how to do this? Have you done this? Have you seen this? Do you what do you think about this? Not what do you, that's wrong. Do you think this about this, right? Those are close-ended questions. They're easy. They're the first ones that come to our minds. And you don't allow them to think, right? That doesn't help. So if you can replace any question that you want to use, do or have, with a what or a how,
that's good.
You will immediately shift it into an open-ended question. And then you're engaging.
You can charge for this.
You're engaging. I might. No, you're engaging the mind, right, of the person you're talking to. So they are not leaning on you to respond, they have to respond, and you don't. It's not a cop out for you to be able to be the hero, because if you ask them a closed-ended question and that conversation ends, it gives you a chance to talk more than you should. But if you ask an open-ended question, it gives you a chance to listen more, right? All right, I'm gonna stop. I hope that made sense. I
That
hope
was
it's
good.
so literally just change. If before you ask if you're about to say do, shift it to a what or a how or who. A what, how, who, when, or why really will work. But I like what or who. I mean, what or what did I say? What or how. Those are really, really good. When is a great accountability, right? Have you done this? Is a different question than when do you want to do this? That's a whole different conversation as opposed to asking, have you done something? Shift it,
Wow.
right? Or when do you expect to get it done? I'm done. Okay, go ahead.
No. That was good. All right. I hope y'all enjoyed that free tidbit. We'll be back with the workshops later. Okay. We'll be back with
We'll be
some.
back.
Listen, we can come to a team near you. Okay. call
We
call
sure
us up.
can. We sure
Call us
can.
up.
Let's
But
go.
because you know what, I think that what you are pointing at is, as a leader, you have to be mindful when you are talking with your team. Am I pointing it back to them or am I pointing it to me?
That's it. That's
Like,
correct.
am I asking a question simply so that I can again
Just say
hero
I asked a
the
question.
yeah,
Right.
to yeah. Like, I'm just like, all right, you haven't talked in a while, so let me just
Correct. Like,
let them feel involved and
right,
like they're
exactly.
participating. Or
Exactly.
am I asking a question because there's something that they have that can make us all better?
Yep.
And it's time for me to shift the stage and allow them to take center stage.
That's right.
Why are you asking the question? I think your motive will determine the outcome. And I think
That's
that
good.
if you are naturally trying to develop your team members, you are naturally going to ask these what and how questions. You're naturally going to ask those type of questions because you are wanting them to become and not just do.
That's right.
And
That's
I
right.
know, I'm sorry, that's my transformational leadership style coming out,
Yeah,
because
that's real. Yeah.
but when you are focusing on their development and not just their ability to do what you say, oh
Yeah,
God,
that's it. Not for real.
I just
Can we go back to the burnout thing that you said? Because I think that all like what you just said, like, are you doing this for them or for you? And when you focus too much on you, you do get burned out, because it you never, again, the situational leader, if you're the only one that can respond to the fire, you've put yourself and your team in a really precarious position, because at some point you won't be able to respond. And if you
yeah.
haven't allowed them to do so and train them in a way for them to handle it, the next time a fire comes, it's just going to burn it down. Nobody will know what to do.
Yeah.
And so you gotta be careful about that. Like, we have to be careful about it. Sometimes, yes, it takes you and you have to do it. But if it takes you all the time, you got to check that. You got to ask yourself, why do I need to be in every situation?
And then here's the other thing that you have to be careful about. I think I used to have a blog. It was called Lead This Heart. And I used to do like an online blog, it was in one of my, I'm trying to find myself stages of life. But a lot of those blogs were really, really good.
Yeah.
But you as a leader, and I think this is something we're gonna talk about in our special episode coming up, but you have to be attentive to your own heart. Because
Yeah.
what
Yeah. My
happens
God. Yeah.
when
Oh boy.
a leader gets burnt out?
Man.
The
Look.
blame game comes up.
Whew.
It's, I wouldn't be burnt out if these people knew how to da 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 da. And why am I the only one that da 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 da? And you mean to tell me nobody could da 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 da? And why am I the only one? And it's like, baby, because you created an atmosphere where no one feels comfortable becoming the person that can do and be. And
Yes.
so you blame the people that you've handicapped.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we do it. You blame the people
Yeah.
that you stifled.
You're correct. That's
You
absolutely right.
blame the people that you won't let move, you won't let grow, you won't let fly. You keeping them stuck in the nest, and then you're like, "Why I gotta carry everybody?"
Right.
Baby, they got
That's
to.
right.
You have to allow people to get into the arena and work out. You got to allow them to build muscle. You got to create safe situations where they can be in places and develop. And you have to be able to recognize when someone is in a safe space. You have to, and you may be the type of leader that has to say to yourself, they're okay. We're okay. If something falls right there, they're going to learn how to pick it up and it's going to be okay.
Yep.
And you have to let them go. I have actually been told by a couple of people. I remember
Uh-huh. Yep. Yep. Yep.
there have been times when I've been told and I've seen other people being told, like, oh, there was this opportunity, but we decided you weren't ready.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I look back on that because at the time I felt ashamed. I felt like God didn't think me special enough, like that He couldn't work with what I had.
Mm.
And we think that we're keeping people safe when we're really crippling them.
Yeah.
Because when you refuse to allow me to work out the muscles that will allow me to enter into the bigger arenas one day, my muscles begin to atrophy.
Atrophy. Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
That's right.
something in me is literally dying because
Yeah.
you won't allow me into the
Mm-hmm.
space that
Mm-hmm.
will develop and strengthen me and who I am.
Yeah. That's
And
right.
again, you don't want to be the leader that people are fleeing. Because I'm not going to sit here and die.
No, you gonna move.
I
Yeah.
got to go.
You gonna move.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is I need to.
And not to say, sorry, just to correct something. Sometimes you really
Mm-hmm.
aren't ready.
For sure.
Sometimes there's
But
some things that you really aren't ready for.
I think something to be. I'm glad you said that because the thought that I had was like, um, look at character, not skill. I mean, skill can be developed. You can do that. You can
Yeah.
figure that out. But if your character is not right, if you don't have a level of maturity, then that could be different, right? But the skill part is like you can figure that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I say something about character real quick?
Yeah.
Again, for any leader, because character, if anybody knows me, character is probably the word that comes out my mouth the most, right? But make sure, because again, character is neither good nor bad, it's either developed or underdeveloped, right? Make sure you're not judging the parts of their character off of your own reflection.
Sure. Yeah.
Give people a fair survey, not according to you you trying to figure out who they are as a reflection of you,
Yes. Oh,
but
for
give
sure.
people
Yeah.
a fair survey, right? Is it a character issue or is it an opportunity issue? And that's where you have to make that, and I think it's incumbent upon leaders that we be making uh we literally hold, because leadership comes with power and authority. You are literally holding the door for the people that you are serving.
Yeah.
You're holding the
Yeah.
door for them. You are the one who's
Yeah.
saying, okay, listen, come on through this
Mm-hmm.
door. Are you the one saying, hey, you can't go through this door yet? And you
Yeah.
have to, there is a great deal of responsibility that comes with that. And I think that we need to be more mindful of how we are monitoring that door that allows people access to their next level.
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
No, that's good. No, I want to say another. I want to you talk to the non-achievers. I'd like to talk to the achievers for a second. All right, as
I'm
a
sit back.
fellow achiever. Oh boy, I'm just way
Mm.
too vulnerable on this. So
I love it.
as an achiever, and a lot of achievers are performative. We like, I mean, our work is our stage. And if I'm honest, that's the case for me, right? My work is my stage. And I like to do well. A lot of times achievers are put as leaders because they've achieved. Okay. And you have to be, it is very important to understand that achievement does not equal good leadership. And when you are put into a leadership position because of your own achievements, this type of leadership style can be very dangerous because you haven't yet learned how not to be center stage. We talked about this earlier, right? The start of the show. But part of the reason this is, and I think this is where you have to be honest with yourself, that we like to do the type of leadership that is more situational, where we can kind of come to the rescue or be the hero, is because as achievers, we like doing what we know how to do. What you have to learn how to do is something new. One of the reasons that I think situational leaders can get in trouble is that you're not just responding, you're responding to things you know how to respond to. And as a leader, your job is not to do that. Your job is to step back, is to look. You gotta kind of come from the grass tops to the treetops, and be able, your perspective needs to shift. And sometimes achievement looks like being still, and achievers have a hard time being still. We like to be moving, we like to be doing things, we like to be achieving, we like to be the next goal, the next thing. And sometimes it's being still and watching, and being discerning, and asking questions, and thinking, and supporting, right? And encouraging. It's not doing. And so but sometimes we can be so insecure. I have been insecure I will insecure as a person, more insecure as an achiever, as an achieving leader, that I have sometimes not unintentionally put myself in a position to where I'm doing more than I should because I don't know what else to do. And that is frustrating as an achiever, right? It's because I don't know what else to do other than achieve. I don't know what it means to not achieve. So I'm just going to keep achieving, even if it's trampling over your development. And that's bad. And that's not good, right? That's not good. So for those of you who are like me, who struggle with that, if you're a high achiever and you find yourself in a leadership role, then what my challenge is to slow down and step back and stop doing. You got to stop doing. You got to stop. And even if it feels so it's the tension, because it will feel that way. The tension inside of you is like, no, but I have to no, just don't go against your nature in that space, right? Go against your nature. What if something is telling you to do something, actively don't do, and watch it get done. Watch it get done. And that's something I tell myself. I got to tell myself that all the time, y'all.
I don't know.
Like, real talk.
I might pay to sponsor this episode because I want this one to go out. The people need to hear this one right here. They need, because I think we have identified spaces that not only leaders, but people who serve under leaders where we get stuck. You
Yeah.
know, I think that we who are not achievement motivated, this is why I keep Ruth and Joy around. You
Sure.
know, like you need to be influenced. I can honestly say that if I did not have the friends and the people around me that I have, I'd be somewhere full of visions and goals
That's right.
and maybe not a lot of movement. I have had to learn.
Mm,
I'm not achievement oriented, but I have had to learn how to keep moving.
mm.
Like I've had to learn how, like I'm not necessarily trying to get to a next goal, but I have to get to my next level of impact. I have
Yeah.
to get to the place where my gift has the proper stage.
Mm.
Right. And the proper, and I have to make sure that I'm continuing, because it is I'm you can develop and grow and have no position, have no
Yeah.
impact, and just be a person who knows a bunch of stuff
Sure.
and can articulate things well, but you don't have a platform.
Yeah.
Or you don't have people who can listen and follow. You don't have impact. And so I think it's important that we bring these two communities of people together. You know,
Agreed.
you need people who are intuitive, mission focused, you know, maybe can seem to be in the clouds.
Mm-hmm.
You need those people you need them to join together with our ground people, with
It's
our
facts.
doers, our movers, and we need each other, because
Yes.
again, me and Ruth Abigail's scripture, iron sharpens iron, and you
Absolutely.
need that.
And you need that.
Child,
You
I
need
would
that.
not be who I was without it.
No, I wouldn't either. And I can say, like, you know, people. It's funny. I always joke, like, a lot of I have a lot of friends who are like Jaquita, who are
Mhm.
that have that kind of personality, and it has helped me to it has really helped me to value people and value process that I don't necessarily always do. Like I naturally value results and I want to just see it done.
Mm,
But the process is I would probably say more important. And it has helped me to just see the process of things and to value that and to value that in people and to be patient. Like
yeah,
and to be patient with myself, right?
yeah,
Like, I mean, and allow myself to go through the process. I think there's huge upside to that, and I wouldn't be able to do that without the people around me. Like,
yeah.
that's not how I'm naturally wired. I also think God intentionally, and I don't I don't know. I've thought this for years. Put me working with people in ministry and in people development to mold that in me, because if I was in an environment where it was results, the person that I am would be I would be a lot more hardened
Mm,
uh towards people.
yeah,
And I think that God put me in ministry because it's not something that I would have ever I honestly didn't want to be in it.
yeah,
And I didn't had no real desire to work with people. Um, but I think God put that in me to soften my heart towards people and soften my heart towards people's process, and allow me to value what He values, which is people.
hmm, yeah,
Um, and that's something I've had to learn as a leader. And I think that's why leadership is so important to me, because y'all, like I sit here, we have these conversations, but I think I can speak for both me and Quita. Like when we leave here, this is like we are speaking in real time for both of us. Like this is not stuff that we're just like, oh, this would be good to talk about. This is like digging up stuff. You know what I'm saying?
girl,
For
yes.
real. Like for
Yes, I
real.
was like, as we were talking today, I was like, "Oh crap! All right."
Like
Like
seriously. I'm
I'm
like,
like,
oh gosh.
especially now that I've been through like these healing classes, and I'm just like, "Oh, found another root. Need to dig that up." Like, I don't think we're not speaking from a hey, let me tell you what I've been through,
No.
and and
Mm-mm.
here's some jewels. We're
Right.
like, man, girl, I just unearthed this just now on this podcast.
Like right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like right in the moment. And I thank you for mentioning, because I think that for those of you that are not achievement focused, like, like you're not constantly like in a state of production, your ability, you have to know your superpower, because it can be a little harder to find. I'm trying to tell you what I've been through. It can be a little bit harder to identify, because everybody else, it seems like they're moving at the speed of light. And you back here somewhere trying to figure out where your piece is at.
That's real.
And being the person that understands how to properly process people, how, like, because you know what it's like. You spent so much time thinking and uncovering process. Like when I look back on my life, I used to get on everybody's nerves. When I found personality, I was like, guys, I now understand everyone. Okay.
Yes,
Let me tell you all. They didn't need to take a test. I literally told everyone what their personality was. And I began walking them through. When I found lifestyle, it's called life languages, I did that. Anytime I find something that helps me to understand people's circumstances, situations better, I'm able to walk people through their becoming stage, because I had to go through my own. I had to go through my own, and that gave me the language to be able to help other people to walk through theirs. You have to know your superpower. Everybody has the ability to be a hero, but not if you don't know what it is you bring into the table. You can't step up on the Avengers and be like, "Hey guys, I don't quite yet know what I do.
Right.
Can I borrow the shield?
Right.
Black Panther, let me get in the suit." And nobody's giving you their suit.
That's real.
You got to find your own suit, and you have to come in articulating who you are. I just
This is
watched
what I do.
Civil War, Captain America Civil War, where they're all like fighting each other. Right. And this is where we get new characters. We get Ant-Man. And everybody's like, yo, who this dude? Like, he can get small, he can get big. Now we got new people on the team. Right. But you have to be able, if you're going to step up to the team, you got to be able to tell me what you do.
What do you do? Yeah.
What
that's
do you
right.
do?
Yeah.
What do you do? What you got? What does your suit do? What's the purpose of your armor? Right.
Yep.
What's the, when we're looking at X-Men, why you got to wear goggles?
Yeah.
What are those for? You have to be able to articulate. And that's the 20s. The 20s is finding those things and being like, oh, what's this? And the 30s is saying, hey guys, I think I'm starting to get some language to be able to explain this. And when me and Ruth Abigail hit the 40s, we'll be back with you to tell you.
We'll let you know. I don't
we'll
know.
let you know.
We'll let you know.
We're not there yet.
We're not there. We're not there. This is good. Thank you.
This was good.
This was good. Yeah, I think we're done.
Those are leadership styles, friends.
There you go. That's leadership styles. And hey, like we always say, if this is of value to you, what they gonna do?
Listen, friends, you're gonna come in and you're gonna join the community, okay?
That's what you're gonna do.
You're gonna hit the heart. Hit
the heart.
Hit the heart.
Don't be scrolling and be like, oh, that's good, and then don't hit the heart.
Yeah, people, like button. You know how many people tell me, man, I listened to your video like 5 times. And I go back and I check.
Right.
Like, man, they must have liked it. Nothing. No. Okay. Hit the like. And honestly, we need to know what resonates with you guys. Yep. What hits, so we can give you more of what works.
Right. Yeah.
So
let us know.
Please share. If you share, tag us in it. This is community. We want to interact and engage with you guys. So share, and for sure subscribe.
Absolutely, y'all. Like we just said, we have something special coming up, so stay tuned for that. But until then, let's keep unlearning together so that we can experience more freedom. Peace.